every time I see this, I hear that verse in the Bible, and the dead shall rise and come amongst us, which is in Revelation, I believe. But this is like the angel calling the dead from the graves. This is waking people up. I'm getting this ever such a lot.
Okay, welcome to the Stellify channel, and today I have Louise Marshall with me, who comes from a fantastic channel on YouTube. It's one that's really took my eye recently, and it's called Straighten Your Crown Tarot. And yeah, I thought I really wanted to get you on, Louise, because what you're doing has really impressed me. Anyway, I think what you're doing is fantastic. You're giving people some hope in the madness that we're in. You know, people are looking for answers, and using your divination techniques, it's giving people a bit of insight to the crazy realm that we're in. So thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me, and hello to all your watchers, subscribers, or wherever you plaster this. I don't know whereabouts you plaster it. Is it just YouTube, or is it Telegram, YouTube, just Rumble, YouTube. All that? Just YouTube.
Well, I've got a Rumble channel. I've got a Rumble channel and Odyssey channel. I've just not posted there for a while, but I think I need to, because my last live. Have you? Yeah. Well, my last live got banned from YouTube, you see. So I
watched that just before they took it down. I watched that just before they took it down.
Did you?
And yeah, because I found that really fascinating. And I don't know why they took that down, because what I was thinking there was some of the stuff I say, and it's not been taken down. And yet I don't understand what it was about that podcast that got took down. I don't understand it.
Medical misinformation. Did you give it an explanation? It's basically medical misinformation. So there was a point in the conversation where we, and it was very slight, we talked about the medical intervention that had been pushed to the population. So I won't say the words, but that injection.
Isn't that interesting that YouTube's still doing that, even though we've got up to date and more current information about that particular period in time.
Isn't it interesting? So I had to go to a naughty boy club, little training camp on YouTube I got a proper slapped wrist. I was really upset about it, I'll be honest, Louise, because it was a really good conversation. It's an hour and 45 minutes that I can't even access now to download to put anywhere else. They won't even let me access it.
So you know when you record on StreamYard, then don't you have a place on your devices to save?
You do when you're recording like we're doing right now, but if I was going live, it just goes straight to YouTube.
Or was that a live one then?
And that it was a live one. Yeah.
You're gonna have to do it again, aren't you? And you know when you have to put.
So there you go.
So you know when you click on to monetize your video, and their drop down box comes up for all these things that might be like contravening the thingies, and if you've got bad language or terrible visuals or all that kind of thing, you've got to click each one. Maybe next time find one that fits the box. If that's, I mean, did you neglect to tick the right thing?
No, and it was on YouTube for a day, but it's showing because I've been following someone recently who's even a year ago, videos from a year ago and 2 years ago, they started removing them again. So that is interesting, you know, that YouTube are doing that. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that.
It is, isn't it? It is, because I've said some stuff, but I've never expected any of mine to be taken down. Because at the end of the day, it's a tarot reading, tarot readings are for entertainment purposes, and human rights. My opinion under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act and all that.
That's funny you said that, Louise. So I've come up with a little cunning plan to see if anything happens next time. I'm going to put disclaimers on the beginning of all my podcasts. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Do it.
And see what happens.
I do it with mine. All I put is this video is any opinions in this are expressed are in accordance, or my own are in accordance with Article 10 of the Human Rights Act for entertainment purposes. That's my disclaimer. If I have to add to that at some later date, I'll add to it. But that's all I've got for now.
And we'll do that for this one.
Yeah, do it, because you never know what's going to come out of my trap, do you, really? I never know what's going to come out.
I think it's important people that maybe have not seen your channel.
Yeah.
The fact that your work at the moment is really good, because
Thank you.
You're tackling current affairs. So even politics that are, people are frightened at the moment, aren't they? Especially in 2020, we've had the world's gone chaotic. And I love what you do, because you'll tackle certain aspects of what's going on in the world and bring some good messages forward. Some real positive messages that people need at the moment. Before we get into it though, Louise, can you tell me what we're saying off camera? The channel started as something else first, and could you go into explaining how you got into tarot?
Yeah, well, it started off as it was a mess about, and lots of people have said to me, because I got banned from Facebook. Well, things got taken down from Facebook and Instagram, and I was a tarot reader on that. I had my own group. I had quite hundreds of people in this group, also called Straighten Your Crown Tarot, and I started voicing my opinions about a recent medical issue. And everything got taken down, and not community noted, but these little boxes that used to come up, and then all of a sudden they'd just disappear. So I got so fed up with it that I just threw myself off Instagram and Facebook, and I've never gone back. I think I've still got a page up, but I never go on it. I don't go on Facebook. I can't. I've just deleted the app on my phone. I just don't go on it. So it started off as a bit of a tongue-in-cheek muck about, really, just to see if I could do it, because I am not technologically minded at all. I'm proper shite at things like that. Inappropriate language, monetization. Anyway, so I'm really crap at it. So I started off, and the very, very early ones sort of reflected what the sort of things that I've learned through the course of my life, through difficulties that I've had through my life, and huge emotional trauma and stuff like that, and the way that the things that I've learned in order to cope with that. So I started with the thought field therapy, emotional freedom technique, which is like a quicker version of thought field therapy, because that you need to know all your Chinese medicine for that. A bit of acupressure, because these are the things that I do. A bit of acupressure, bit of kinesiology, Reiki, little bit of hypnotherapy type things, bit of meditation and all that kind of thing. And then thinking I was helping people by going into the quantum physics type aspect of how to heal and how to train your brain to think differently, and all that kind of thing. And it took ages. It took like over 2 years just to get to 300 subscribers. But then I would come on and I'd do tarot readings, because I meditate every day, but I'm also clairaudient, clairgustant, sometimes clairvoyant, but not always. I can't turn it on and off. So I've got most of the clairs, not all of them. And I'd meditate and I'd get all these messages come through, and it would be tied into current affairs. So one of my videos, I said the Queen would be no longer with us within 6 months, and she wasn't. And things just come up. But if you're a meditator, you know that sometimes when you meditate, you get these images and these pictures that you can't always make head nor tail of. It's odd. They're like odd little movies playing in your mind, but they're actually very vivid. So in November, I can't even remember what video it was. I got this message come through, and I sat down and I did the tarot reading, and the subscribers just blew up. And it's sort of grown organically from there, because because it was a current affairs thing, that's the only thing I can remember. People request readings, and they're always on current topics, politics, what's happening with this, what's happening with that, the farmers and winter fuel allowance and all that kind of thing. And we've had people ask me what's happening in Australia and Canada and all that kind of thing. And I'll just go on and I'll do a reading. Most of the time I don't do any research at all. Sometimes it's a topic I know a lot about. Sometimes it's a topic I don't know anything about whatsoever. I don't even know what I'm reading about or what I'm reading about. I'll just go on and I interpret it's an intuitive process. So I've gone from 300 in November to about 2,500, I think, now, and they're still climbing slowly.
Brilliant.
So I was able to monetize my channel when I got to 1,000 subscribers, which is brilliant, because now all the revenue goes to a children's hospice in Sheffield. So up to now, between us, me and my fantastic subscribers, I've already sent £500 to Bluebell Children's Hospice in Sheffield. There's another 300 coming at the end of this month. So I'm just chuffed to bits. Yeah, because they are going to lose a lot of funding.
That's fantastic.
Especially when this assisted dying bill comes in, because they're already cut funding for hospices in favour of helping people to shuffle off the mortal coil. So I think they're hoping to disband hospices in favour of just letting them go. So if we can keep it alive, we'll keep it alive. And they do fantastic work. And, you know, these little kids have not got long, do you know what I mean? And they provide a really nice, happy time for them and the families. So why not?
Yeah,
I mean, and I've got bugger all. I'll be honest with you, I think 300 quid, what I could do with 300 quid, I ain't got 2 pennies to scratch my arse with. But I just think, no, you know, it was never meant to be the format that I'm doing. It was never meant to be tarot readings for taking requests. And my subscribers are brilliant, because they will watch the whole thing, because you will know as well as I do that when you've got people watching, you get people dip in and out. They watch first few minutes and they think, oh, that's boring, I'll click on something else. This constant what's it called when you want immediate satisfaction, what's it called, instant gratification mindset that a lot of us are in, including me sometimes. They will watch all the way to the end, because they'll know they even tell me that they're going to switch kettle on when adverts are on, so the adverts can run, so the revenue goes up.
That's fantastic.
So I mean, they're amazing. They are amazing. And my subscribers are mainly older people as well, because it's the older ones that are really, really struggling with the huge change that's happened since 2020, because everything's gone so fast. Life's changed. I mean, tomorrow morning it could be completely different. There might be 5 or 6 different things coming up. I know that by the end of March there's going to be a series of very shocking events, shall we say, and the advice there is don't react, because it'll blow over.
So what kind of insight have you got on that then? Have you got any sort of concrete things?
It feels all to do with war. It feels as if it's both sides of the globe. We've got the Ukraine-Russia thing. We've got the escalation in the Middle East and Israel-Palestine and all that kind of thing. There's going to be a series of events which are going to make us think that we are heading for nuclear fallout. We're not. We're really not. But the media is going to put a load of hype onto it all and frighten us all to death. And it's all part of a plan, because while ever people are in fear, their immune system is lower. That's when they're more likely to accept being controlled.
Absolutely.
Because they look for something outside of themselves to placate that fear. Fear is a terrible emotion. It's horrendous. It's the worst one you can have.
Absolutely. You look at 2020, Louise, and the way people reacted in 2020.
They had everybody, didn't they? They had everybody with the fear in 2020. Yeah. I mean, I remember going into I work for a company, and I remember during the lockdown, all the staff were furloughed, but it didn't sit right with me. So I joined the emergency response team in Sheffield, and I was delivering prescriptions to elderly people and doing the shopping for them, because they all had to be locked in their house, didn't they? And I did all that. I'm delivering care packages to people, families that were COVID positive and all that kind of thing. And then when I went back to work, the big boss was bragging about having the intervention.
Okay.
And then said, "You'll have had it, won't you?" And I went, "I've not had it. I'm not having it." And she said, "Well, if you haven't had it, that means you could kill me." And I went, "No, actually, if you listen to the news and the radio and you read all the papers, you'll know that actually, because I haven't had it, you can kill me." So anyway, I didn't stay long. I didn't stay long there. I took early retirement. I'd been there 20 odd years. I took early retirement because I was going to, just as we were coming out of it all, and it was sort of going back to normal. It's never gone back to normal, has it, Anne? Let's be honest.
No.
Just that fear has stuck with people. And so I took early retirement, and I went into business, because I'm a hypnotherapist, a kinesiologist, acupressure, Reiki, meridian psychotherapy and all that. So I went into business, but it just wasn't working because people were still too suspicious of others. And that's never really gone away. In lots of respects, that's never really gone away. And then you've got this constant bombardment every day, aren't you? Oh, we're all going to die. Russia's going to drop nuclear bombs on us. They are not. We're being invaded by an army. Middle East, it's all going to blow up, and then Iran's going to come for us as well. And then we're all going to die, because we'll never be able to eat anything, because food's going to be scarce. Yes, it is actually. Food will be scarce. And then we're not going to be able to house ourselves, keep ourselves warm, feed ourselves. What the hell are we going to do? And now they're going to conscript all our kids. They might do that as well. But yeah, it's crazy. And it's just one thing after another. And then the thing is, if you're feeling erratic and fearful, then you're projecting that into the quantum field. And you project that onto other people, and before you know it, this is why you're seeing all the infighting in the Houses of Parliament, why you're seeing the Rupert Lowe reform thing. They're all at each other's throats, because that's how people feel internally. It gets projected outwards, and this is how it transpires. This is how it comes to life. But people don't understand that, because nobody teaches people the important things about life.
No, of course not, because they can't control us if we have the important tools.
No. So you indoctrinate the kids.
Absolutely.
You make them go to university, so they think in their heads they're really, really clever, and they know everything, because by the time they get to 13, they know everything anyway. Because that's what teenagers are like, innit? They think they know everything. You can't teach them anything. You can't teach them anything different because they've been taught science.
That's right. Yeah. They've been taught to memorize things. That's what they've been taught to do.
And they've been taught that because it's science, it can't be altered. The science is settled.
Oh, it's settled. Of course it is.
It's a right load of old funny, isn't it?
Oh, unbelievable.
But most people, most people aren't like you or I. Most people are completely in the dark about anything. They've got the telly on, they're watching the Coronation Street, they don't know anything about politics, how it works. They don't want to know about any of that. They're not curious. They're not curious because they've been programmed.
Yeah, they have. They have. But why do you think there's a certain amount of us that are curious, though? Why is there some of us that have found
because some of us have got to walk each other home. We've got to walk each other home. Some people will never, ever want to listen because they want to stay in that bubble because that's where it's comfortable. And then, do you know what I mean? People don't want to feel uncomfortable. And then there are other people like me, who's a nosy old cow, who's just so curious and wants to know everything about everything. Because I'm still a very curious person. I love learning, and once you start to really start to get it, and I'm not saying I've got all the answers because I haven't. There's a lot I don't know. There's a lot I'll never. There's a lot more out there than I'll never know. But what little bit I do know is that we're here to provide that helping hand to people who want it. Because the people who don't want it will never want it, and you might as well bang your head against a brick wall because you can lead a horse to water, you cannot make it drink. But the ones that people are starting to wake up, people are starting to realize something's not quite right. Not all of them realize what that is. I don't really know exactly what that is. I have my own view on it. But there are loads and loads of people out there that are starting to think, hang on a minute, smelling a big fat rat here. What's going off? And they're the people who need the hands holding. They're the people who need to be told, don't be frightened. Don't be frightened. This is part of a plan. Let's just stick together in communities. Let's just, find the joy in life because it's just a big game.
It's just a big game. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's just a big game.
It's part of why I do what I do, I suppose, in a way, Louise. The same way as you doing what you're doing. I'm trying to find answers, but I'm also on a journey of it, but also recognizing the fact that we are powerful individuals. As individuals, we are very powerful, and they don't want you to know how powerful you are.
Much more powerful than anybody even realizes. Exactly. If you even take the small little thing that I know about quantum physics, the human brain is a very complex thing, and most of how it works no one knows about. This brain is phenomenal. If I can see things that aren't there, if I can hear people talking that aren't there, if I can smell things that's not around me, if I can feel things that's not there, just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there, but my brain detects it.
Yeah.
My brain detects it. And the minute you start to trust that and realize actually we're living in a game. It's like a chess game. We're just the pawns. And we're not supposed to get to position of king. We're supposed to be the plebs that are programmed to do the work. Yeah. We're not supposed to step out of our box, and we're starting to step out of our box because it's time. It's time.
Do you have you ever gone down the route? It's interesting you say that. So I've been going down some rabbit holes lately, as you do, and like the last time humanity the last time humanity stepped out the box kind of thing, they would reset. And now they've been talking about the Great Reset, haven't they? Have you done some? I presume you've done plenty of readings on all that kind of malarkey.
I know. Yeah, I didn't go down a rabbit hole because I don't need to, because it's part of the plan. It's part of the plan. It's the part of the plan to reprogram everybody through AI so that we can all become transhuman, and there'll be no more humans left. I mean, we're probably going to be the last humans left, us in the older ones of us and older than us, because I won't have an implant put in my brain. I won't be having anything in my hand, so I can just click it on a I don't know, front door to let me in. I won't be doing that. I don't need convenience at that level.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
You die on that one. That is absolutely the hill that you die on. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but the younger ones will do it because they think it's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, there's a real push for transhumanism, because once you've got everybody who's a transhuman, like an AI robot with a biological robot, if you like, you've got workers, you've got slaves.
Absolutely.
And the last time they did that was with Jesus, because Jesus was an Essene, and he was an Essene. He was he was well versed in the esoteric, if you like. And then there's all the Dead Sea Scrolls, aren't there? And all the lost books, the Lost Book of Thomas, the Book of Judas, all these books that have, were omitted from the Bible. And in these books are the things that say, God is within you and all around you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're creators.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly, I was reading a book by Greg Braden. It's an old one. And they've found in every single strand of our DNA, there's a code. And that code says, God within the body. God is within the body, or something like that. God is here within the body, something like that, in every one strand of our DNA.
Interesting, eh?
Because our version of God is this old man with a grey beard sitting on a cloud, shooting his wrath at everybody that sins. It's not. Well, I'm saying it's not. Who am I to say that? I believe that God is within us all, and it's for us all to discover that mystery, that power, because we are so much more powerful than we dare to think, or dare to imagine, or dare to accept. We are our own worst enemy.
Because of programming. Because of the programming, and that's why I always look at this. The channel was designed in a way for that purpose of, like, okay, so we are this special being, but who are they and why are they trying to control us? What are they trying to gain from it? So that's how I ended up on the Gnostic path.
Well, they're trying to gain control, aren't they? Because if we don't know the real story, I mean, the Vatican's got a lot of these ancient texts, that they don't let people look at.
I'm curious, like you, Louise, and I want to know what's in
because they know something that they don't need us to know. Because if we knew that, they'd lose all control. They'd lose all control, because everyone would be fearless. Everyone would be fearless.
Yeah.
As you look around you, everybody's scared to death. Everybody's frightened of saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, being the wrong thing, looking the wrong way. Because that's how we've been programmed. You get ripped from your mother's arms at 4 years old, and you get taught how to behave. Your parents teach you how to behave, then school teaches you how to behave, then work teaches you how to behave, then the government teaches you how to behave, and by the time you've done, you don't be a person, you don't be you. So
exactly
and one of them things, isn't it? One of them ones.
But we're the ones who's got to break the mold, and hopefully inspire others to break the mold as well.
Yeah.
This reality can be so much more. I don't want to be that 9 to 5. It is happening. It is.
It's happening, but it's happening under the surface. It's happening. It's not. It's no one's screaming it from the rooftops, which is a good thing. Because if we screamed it from the rooftops, there'd be people in, it'd be all in for fashion, the fashionable aspect of it, and then they'd dip out again because, you know what I mean? The people who are in it are sincere.
Yeah.
Really do want to help, really do want to see a better world. Whether we'll get one in my lifetime, I don't know.
I've said the same.
Yeah.
I've said the same thing, if it's in my lifetime or not, I don't know, but we are to actually here to start making a change at least.
To walk each other home.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. Louise, can you tell me?
From Alan, it's actually a quote from Alan Watts, that.
Is it?
We're here to walk
I like that. Can you tell me, or tell my listeners, for those that are not clued up too much on the tarot itself, I mean, obviously you use that. Do you psychically interpret messages from using those tarots, or do they always provide the same messages? How does it work?
No. Well, the tarot is I'm saying the traditional tarot. The traditional tarot comes from France in something like 1400s, but the one that you'd typically see would be the Rider-Waite tarot, the one that you'd see in James Bond, with the death card. I'm trying to find it for you. I'm going to try and find it for you. And the High Priestess.
That's it. I remember that.
Jane Seymour and all that.
Yeah.
Death.
Okay.
Can you see it? That's Death. Yeah. Now, the tarot tells a story. It's the soul's journey. So it's made up of 22 major arcana cards and 56 minor arcana. So there's 78 in a deck. I'm trying to find, there she is, High Priestess, Jane Seymour. So the major arcana cards, the 22 major arcana cards, they tell the story of the fool's journey. And when you get to the end, you get to what's the last one? Is it the world? Yeah, so you basically, and then it goes round in circles, just like the cycles of life, boom and bust. We go back to the beginning, war and peace. We go back to the beginning, and then we have life cycles. So we start off as a novice, we go along the journey, we start learning the journey, we master the art of that particular thing, and we get back to the beginning, we have to start and learn something new. So that's the fool's journey. And then the other cards, the paper cards or minor arcana cards, they're all, they go from ace to king. They're all in suits of pentacles, which is earth, wands, which is fire, swords, which is air, and cups, which is water, which also corresponds to the signs as well. So air, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, etc. And then they also tell a story. So there's some numerology in there as well. Fives are always about a challenge, all that kind of thing. Aces are always about an inspiration, a new thing, a gift from the divine, an offer. And then the court cards, the king and the prince and the page and the queens, they always, next to nearly always symbolize a person.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, not always. Sometimes they symbolize an aspect or a characteristic of a person. So so obviously the way that I do it is I meditate. I get this question, so I'll pick a question. Well, someone will give me a question they want answering. Not saying that they're accurate, because obviously there's my intention in that as well. Intention's a big thing. Do you know what I mean? So you have to get out your own way to read tarot cards, because you can put your own spin on it, which I do often, because I'm not an objective person, I'm human. So I do have my opinions, and you can tell I've got my opinions. But if something comes up that surprises me, that goes against my opinion, I'm not going to pretend it's not. Do you know what I mean? I can't read it that way. So I take the question, and then I'll meditate on that question. sometimes I get really vivid visions over that particular question, and sometimes I just get a word,
right,
and I might have to go all day with that word, trying to figure out what that word or that phrase is trying to tell me. And then it might just be something really odd. My daughter might say something, or somebody at work might say something, and it'll twig what that means. Interestingly enough, I had a really good one. The last video was the Farage and Rupert Lowe.
okay, yeah.
There's one playing now that I did afterwards, which is playing now, but so it'll be the one before the one that's up now. And I had this vision of Nigel Farage in fishing gear with a fishing. He's fishing. He's got a fishing rod and a keep net, and all these schools of fish, but they weren't fish, they were people. They got people's faces, were literally throwing themselves into this keep net, and then all of a sudden he just laughed his head off and then let them all go. So it's like reeling them in to let them go, reeling them in to let them go. So is this a characteristic of Nigel Farage? Reeling them in and letting them go? Possibly. Yeah. So obviously I then said that in the reading. So then I'll do the reading. The cards are always cleansed before a reading. So they are staged. They're cleansed with sound. I've got a Tibetan singing bowl cleansed with sound. And I also channel Reiki to them. So they're cleansed beforehand and they are shuffled within an inch of their life. Hopefully that they don't have the same cards from the day before, but I'll rotate the cards so that they're not getting old. You're not seeing the same cards all the time. I mean, I've got hundreds of decks, but these ones, the Ride Away, are my favourite. They always have been. They were the ones, the first deck I ever had as a kid, like 13. That's not the deck since I was 13. I mean, that one actually been longer gone, 58 now. So I'll rotate them, and then I'll just do the reading, and it what comes out comes out.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it. So so I do readings for other people as well, but I'm booked till.
I bet you are.
Till middle of April, and I've been booked up now. People have been asking me for readings. I keep having to say, you're gonna have to get hold of me again in April because I'm booked. I'm buggered. I'm buggered. I work. I come home. I have my tea. I come up here and I'll do a reading for YouTube, and then I'm doing other people's readings. I'm absolutely knackered. Every so often I have to have a couple of days off because I'm so buggered. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you need to look after yourself as well. It's important to.
I do. Don't get me. I do, but I do have health issues as well, which is what got me on this healing journey to begin with.
I see. Okay.
Emotional trauma as well, life and all that bollocks. But emotional trauma, which led to health issues, and then old age and poverty, and as well on top of it. But so that's what led me to it in the first place. So
it's funny how trauma and intrigue takes you on these kind of journeys, though, isn't it? It's like why do we suffer at times? What's the point of all this?
Well, you know why you do. Have you not worked it out?
Well, I mean, my suffering that I've had over the years, I've gained a lot from.
Yes. There you go.
The thing.
It's called growth.
Yeah, so I've got gratitude for a lot of the trauma that I've faced now because I've done the inner work, and I've kind of recognised the reasons why, and gratitude for people that's actually hurt me in the past as well. I go, well, you know what? Thank you for those lessons.
Most people have gone, F off, I'll never speak to you again. I mean, I was like that. You were like, I could fall out with anybody as soon as look at them when I was a lot younger. But I think you just get to a point where if you don't learn, life's two things, lessons and blessings. You get your lessons. If you don't learn your lessons, you'll continue to learn it. And every single time that new lesson comes back for you to learn, it gets worse every single time. The emotional trauma gets worse every time, to the point where, because that's the reason why I had the trauma, because I wouldn't learn me bloody lessons, because I'm a stubborn old cow. So like eventually you get put on your arse, and then when you get put on your arse, it's the best thing that can ever happen to you, because then you start to look for things that can help you, because you're on your knees. Like, I'm either gonna go mad, or I'm gonna sort myself out, or I'm gonna find my way out of this shit, because this isn't what I'm here for. Do you know what I mean? I'm not here for this. And then you find your own. You have to do that dark night business, which is tough.
Yeah, it is.
You know, you have to look at yourself and your situation and how you got to this place, and all the woe is me and the why me's have to go to the wayside, because there's a reason why, because you were meant to be put where you are.
Yeah, totally. It's getting rid of the victim mentality is really important. And then building yourself up and putting boundaries in place, and self-love is massively important.
Yeah,
massively important.
Yeah, you know, and then you put the arrogance to one side and the know-it-all business to one side, and you start trying to find answers. And for me, it was like, I can't live like this. There is no way that I'm going to live so ill like this. I'm going to find a way. But because I can't take medication, because I'm allergic to the shit that they put in it, I had to find an alternative way. So I was being guided all the way through on this journey to where I am now. And all this tarot thing, I wanted it to be a healing thing. But Spirit saying, no, you're here to help people. And they don't want this woo-woo shit. They don't want the Reiki. They don't want the hypnotherapy. They don't want the kinesiology. They don't understand it. They want you to get some cards out, something that they can see. They want you to get some cards out and show them that it's all right, that fear is the worst thing you can do. It's what is it? Fear is the thief of joy. Definitely. So yeah, so that's how it's morphed. It's not morphed because I chose it. It just did it organically, and that's always the best way.
I'm interested as well with tarot and techniques such as this, because again, it's like, what is this realm that we're in? Why does it work then, Louise? You know, so is our life scripted in such a way that it can read this?
Must be, but there's also, it's not just every single one of these cards has a meaning. So this is the Six of Pentacles, right? So this is philanthropy, giving to the poor, charity, okay? But that's the meaning of that card. But if I was reading the card for a particular reading, it depends what other cards come out around it. Right now, I'm drawn to that scale, and scales mean justice. If you look at the card itself, he's just weighing his coins, isn't he? But I'm seeing justice in that. So it's an intuitive process as well. Whereas, like, you could not know any of the meanings of any of the cards at all. And if you're an intuitive person, you can you can gain meaning from them. It's like storytelling.
Yeah.
So if you put, I don't know, let's just get 3 out and see what happens.
Okay. So
we've got the Chariot. Got the Page of Wands. And we've got the Devil. So the current situation, because there's only 3. So we've got past, present, future. I'm not reading anything particular. I've got no question in mind here. You normally would have a question in mind. The Chariot. white and black, yin and yang. You've got a charioteer, right? He's in control of his chariot. He's moving forward. He's determined. There's a determination in this card. Then you've got the Page of Wands. Pages are messengers. Okay, this is fire. So fire is Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, right? So it's a fire card. Fire is masculine, yang. Okay. The shoots on this wand, there's new shoots on this wand. This page is a messenger. He's bringing a message of something new, inspirational, because fire is about inspiration. It's about get up and go. It's fire in your belly. It's organization. It's military. It's inspirational. It's also intuitive. So you've got this chariot. They're all in the upright, so he's determined to move forward. Then this message comes in of it feels like a new I need to look at them. Right, this chariot is moving towards something new and inspirational. So some new creative project, I would say, with that. Okay, because don't forget, fire is also the sacral chakra and the solar plexus. So it's willful. And then you've got the devil. So the warning there would be to not be too attached to the outcome, because the devil, to me, is the addiction card. And the devil here, this is Capricorn. But the devil itself, these two people are the lovers from the lovers card. But these two people are loosely chained to the devil. This is addiction. Like, what's that word when you're attached to somebody? What's it called? Codependency, that kind of thing. Some sort of addiction. Doesn't have to be drugs. It could be an addiction to work. It could be over-egging it a bit, not wanting to move this from this place. They could step out of their chains if they want to, because they're only loosely tied. But there's an addiction to this, whatever this thing is. Do you see what I mean? So he wants to move forward. He's got some inspiration, but the inspiration itself can become addictive. Right. So this new adventure could be an addiction. So this person's wanting to move forward with a life, but they're a little bit too adventurous, possibly leading towards some sort of addiction.
Interesting.
So it's like telling a story. You see what I mean?
Yeah, interesting.
So to read tarot, you'd need to know the basic meanings of them. Carl Jung's archetypes would help you with that, to learn the Fool's Journey. So yeah, so you've got all that kind of thing, but there are cards that are, I mean, I've got a few decks out because I didn't know whether you wanted to have a look at some of them, because they are all different, but a lot of these are new. But there are some decks that do have some blurb. I mean, I don't like working with these because they distract me. They have some blurb at the bottom.
Right.
Well, now they could help you learn the tarot if you wanted to learn the tarot. See, the Knight of Wands is always someone to me that does a knee-jerk, some sort of knee-jerk reaction, needs to think before he leaps. That would be someone like me. But then the blurb on this says decisive, focused, driven, defensive, events that move with great speed. Yeah, it would be that. Choose intellectual responses to challenges rather than emotional, sudden or unexpected changes. Review your options carefully. But I just see that as a knee-jerk reaction to a situation. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. So they're good for, these are good for people who aren't quite so confident. I do quite like the pictures on them though, because they have different pictures. So this is the 15. This is 15. What's 15? Talk to me. It's the devil. Oh. No, it's not. Yeah, it's the devil. No, the devil's Death's 13. Yeah, it's the devil. No, is it the devil? Do you know, because they give them different names?
Yeah.
So your major arcana, your Fool's Journey story. Yeah, it is. It's the devil. They're numbered 0 for the Fool right through to 22. 21. And then this is the devil. So you've got the 2 different devils. Oh, God, where have I put it? So that's the devil.
Yeah.
And that's ego, which is the devil card. Completely different.
Okay.
So when you see this person's releasing somebody from their chains, yet she's still blindfolded. So it's very similar, but you've got you're picking up different things from the pictures. Do you see what I mean? So, yeah, so they're all very different, but I do take, because I read intuitively, sometimes things just jump out. It's like, actually, I'm really drawn to this bit of this card. And I think, never mind the definition of this card, I think this is definitely jumping out. Do you see what I mean? Because you don't always read via definition. Once you know the general meanings of the cards, you don't always see the definitions. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to try and find you devil in this deck now. This deck is fabulous. These were sent to me by the artist who created them.
Oh, wow.
Scylla Conway. She actually created these cards, and she's the artist, and she sells them independently. So I find devil.
Is there a difference between oracle cards and tarot?
Yeah, now oracle cards are meant to be read. So I often get people say, if you were any good at reading, you'd know the meaning of them. But they are meant to be read. They're just meant to be a bit of a. They're just meant to be a bit of a. Just a bit of a like a backup, if you like. I mean, for years and years, I've only started using oracle cards recently, because they're not really necessary. They're just a bit of a filler, in my opinion. That's a new phenomenon. Oracle cards. I think it's a bit of a money spinner.
Is it? It's like it came from the new age thing, really, didn't it? Sort of angel cards, oracle cards.
Angel cards, yeah, but they were never. Tarot was tarot, but the angel cards were never part of tarot, and neither were oracle cards. It's just a bit of a filler, right? I don't know where devil is in this. What's she bit lasted? Do you know what? Bugger it. I'm going to try this one. Now, this is. I can find these easy because I know these pictures like the back of my hand. Give me a sec.
You're all right, Louise. Don't worry. You got into it at the age of 13.
I were already seeing things and hearing things and all that way before then.
Well, yeah.
And then it was my mum actually that went to a tarot reader years and I went with her, and this tarot reader said she's got the gift, and my mother went, I know. She spooks us out all the time, because I used to see things and all sorts. My dad thought I was crazy. My mum were more like, because my mum had ruminate in her. So I don't know whether that's got anything to do with it. No idea. But I think I were only one. because there's no family now, so I think I was the only. I had 3 sisters, but there were no. There's. I think I was the only one.
Yeah.
And then she said that, and then I bought a deck of tarot cards when I was 13 with my paper round money. And there were a little tiny booklet inside the box. I'll show you what booklets look like. Hang on. There's always a booklet inside the box that gives you excuse my mug in your face. It gives you a bit of a little book like that, and then they give you the definitions of what they mean and all that kind of thing, but they don't tell you the connections between the air and the earth and all that kind of. They don't tell you any of that. That takes wider reading. There's a really good book. If I've got it, I haven't got it up here, but I'll send it you via text. The name of the book, it's 78 something or others, and that's a really good explanatory book. But then there's this one, Judgment. This is like an awakening. But every time I see this, I hear that verse in the Bible, and the dead shall rise and come amongst us, which is in Revelation, I believe. But this is like the angel calling the dead from the graves. This is waking people up. I'm getting this ever such a lot in tarot readings, because that's a current thing. This is a major card. Now, if they're major arcana cards and you get a lot of major cards in a reading, this is divinely guided. Now, that's that card. Now look at this card by Cilla Conway. Can you see the bodies rising up? How beautiful is that?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same card, completely different visuals.
Lovely. Right, I get you.
You see what I mean? So they all have different visuals. So it does depend. But most of the time, I rotate my cards because they get tired and they get cleansed every time before they use, but they feel like they get tired. And then sometimes if I haven't had a deck out for a while, I have to wake them up. You might, I don't know if you've seen a lot of my videos, I don't know, but you'll hear me, you'll see me doing this. Wake up. You have to wake them up because they sleep.
And would that be the case if somebody had handled your cards as well? Would you have to do that as well?
Nobody handles my cards. If I have a one-to-one, if I have a reading and they're actually here, I'll get them to pick their own cards.
Okay.
And then they'll be cleansed afterwards. But obviously my readings are done like online now because people from all over the place. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but if someone was here and I was reading, or I went to read for someone in their home or whatever, which I've done, they would choose their own cards. I just put them down, like face down, and they'd choose which one they wanted, and then they'd have some, but they hold the cards first, so that their energy goes into it. But when you read over the internet, you don't get that energy exchange. So I'm choosing cards for them. So it's all like it's an energy exchange, isn't it? I mean, everything's energy, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Everything.
Yeah.
When you started and things started moving for you on the channel, then, and obviously into current affairs, have you seen anything from the readings that you were given that's come to light, and it's almost like, not that you're the kind of person who go, "I told you so," but it's kind of...
When I said the Queen was going to die.
The Queen, yeah.
And she did. And I said within 6 months, but it was less than 6 months. I could see. I mean, I know she was old. Do you know what I mean? But we all thought she was going to live forever, didn't we? But yeah, I think that was just after she parachuted into... No, it weren't. I think it was after that Paddington Bear sketch. She did. Right. Yeah. Thank you, Your Majesty. And then I just got a shiver from that. Massive shiver from that. And I'm thinking, yeah, she's not long. She's not going to be gone soon. And then I did a meditation and she was. And look what we've ended up with, sausage fingers.
Yeah, but it's all the show, isn't it? It's all the show. It's all an act.
Yeah.
You know, and this is the thing.
It's one big pantomime.
It's one big pantomime.
Yeah. It's all basically. It's all smoke and mirrors.
It is, and you know, I recognise that now more than ever since I've done the work, I suppose, in a way that I just see it all as a pantomime. It's just a big show, but people are still very much hooked on to the fact that this is real. You know, that these people have certain interests that are for you, maybe. You know, let's say, for example, let's go down the route of the Trump thing right now. I think that's, you know, very topical, has been in the truther community since 2020, since I had my pub. You know, if there was an argument in the pub on one of my Truther Tuesday nights, it was a Q thing. It was like people against or for. You know, that there were the arguments most of the time. And now we're back to it in a way, and it's very divisive. You know, you've got I see them as characters. They're almost like it's like watching a soap opera for me. I just see a lot of actors. That's the way I see it. But a lot of my friends will see these people as saviors.
And I've said it a lot in my readings. No one is coming to save you. Do not hero worship, because they will disappoint. Trump is doing a good job right now. Elon Musk is doing a really good job right now. That doesn't mean that's forever. It's not a ride or die person. He will change with the wind. He's not your hero. Do not hero worship.
I personally, I see agendas at play from the off. I see the transhumanism agenda at off from everything they're doing now.
Why do you think Elon Musk is doing what he's doing? He's doing a good job. He's saving America money and they're turning the economy round. That's the job that he should do, and then he should skedaddle. But actually, he'll probably be getting quite a lot of AI contracts, government contracts through that, and then that'll step up, and then we'll all be in shit again with that. Do you know what I mean? Because that'll be the next thing. But yeah. No one's, everybody thought Farage and UKIP was going to be the best thing, and look what he's just done to Rupert Lowe. Do you know what I mean? They're all stab you back as soon as look at you.
Of course they are.
You know, do not hero worship any, because they're all captured. They're all in somebody's back pocket. All of them.
Yeah,
including the king. Including the king.
Yeah, well, the monarchy not as high up as our propaganda would allow it anyway.
No. Well, I mean, they're all in somebody's back pocket, like I say, including the king and his successor and his heir.
Yeah, I agree.
As much as everybody loves them, I'm sorry to say, take the film from your eyes, because it's like a disease. As soon as people get a little bit of power, they end up in somebody's back pocket. Faceless people.
Absolutely soulless.
Faceless people, soulless people. Yeah, lizard people.
Yeah. Do you foresee? I mean, I've said, and I may be wrong. Probably will be. I've been wrong a lot in my life. I was married for 10 years.
And I'll be wrong again millions and millions of times before I put my clogs.
Well, absolutely. But I said back in, I don't know, when 22, something like that, I said 24 and 25 are going to be very interesting years. There'll be a big push. And then we're going to see some difficult years leading up to 2030.
I think 25 is going to be I think 25 and 26 are going to be the hardest 2 years. And I think it'll die down. I think 25 is going to be really, really hard. And then in 26, it's going to quieten for a little bit. And then it's going to ramp up again and ramp up again. And just as people think that I think they're going to let people believe that they've had. When I was at university, I'm a historian. I did a history degree. It's a long story. I've done that many different things. I was taught about the, when they gave the vote to men in the 18 whatever it was actually to shut them up. And the idea was to give them a little bit of power and keep your shoulder behind the Westminster Palace door to not let any of them actually in, basically. Make them think they've got a bit of power. Now, all this, we think we're backtracking on the net zero, Ed Miliband might lose this and they might lose that. This is to make people think they've won. It's a ruse. They haven't won. They're going to quieten it down. They're going to make people think that finally we're going to get back to normal. We're never going back to what we were before 2020. We're not going back. We've got to accept that everything changes. That's the nature of life.
If anything's guaranteed, it's change. Anything guaranteed in life, it's change.
Exactly. And we've got to accept that change. But we can accept that things are changing without having too much attachment to the outcome. Because that's the issue. We're all very attached to the outcome. We all have an idea of what we want, and we're all very attached to the outcome. It's that attachment, that attention that we place on what we want, what we worry about, that attention just blows it up. The more you put your attention into something, the more you're emphasizing it. You're making it happen. That's manifesting. Do you know what I mean? So we just have to accept that things are changing and don't be attached to the outcome, which is difficult to do because we're human beings. And at the end of the day, we experience life through 8 doors. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, a tongue and a body. Through what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we feel and what we touch. And it's the mind that walks that path. It's the mind that walks the path. What you see in front of you might be a completely different image to what I see when I look in the mirror. And how would I ever know? Because I'm not looking through your eyes. You're not looking through mine.
That's right.
It's my experience. We're all having individual experiences, but we're all part of the same family. We're all part of the same consciousness.
That's and the quantum mechanics side of it.
Exactly.
The observer.
The observer. And I think I mentioned it in one of my readings. There's research done on meditators going out into the Middle East in the middle of a war zone and meditating for peace, and for days and days after, not a shot was fired, no looting, no crime at all for about 3 days after. 1,000 meditators. That's collective consciousness at work.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that goes to show how they can collectively make those manifest hell on earth if they wanted to. And that shows 2020, how 2020 happened, put people in fear. You want people dropping down dead somehow, it's going to happen. Of course you are.
Make them shit scared, it's going to happen. Make them be completely, can't think of anything else but, keep away from this person. Let's have the news on 24/7. See how many people have died today when Boris comes up to his lectern. What's that going to do? You're manifesting it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. It's important to get into the quantum mechanics thing. It's, I know, like you say, most people don't want to see it, but it's the way this reality is.
Well, even Einstein talked about it, didn't he? Spooky action.
He did.
And Max Planck and all them, they were talking about it years and years ago, but they got shut down, didn't they?
Of course they
got shut down. But then when you've got that, what's it called? Some other collider in Lucerne.
Yes, sir.
The big, where they split the atom and all that. Right. Well, they split one atom, didn't they? They sent one atom to one end. I think it's about 14 miles all the way around, something like that. They split the atom. Yeah, they sent them to this split particle in 2 different directions and held them there, and I don't know, tickled one particle and the other one acted exactly the same way. So it's like, this is collective consciousness. This is what happens. It's like that butterfly effect that they talk about. Butterfly flaps its wings in the Amazon and we've got a hurricane in wherever, you know, Europe, something like that. But like, what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch and feel is an experience. But our experience is limited by the shell that we're in.
That's right.
What do you think
happens after the shell, Louise?
Eh?
What do you think happens after the shell then?
I think we just go into the quantum field. I think we just become energy. They say energy cannot be changed or destroyed. Sorry, energy cannot be destroyed. It just changes.
Yeah, it's infinite, isn't it?
I think about that quote from the Katha Upanishad. Is it the soul is not born, neither does it die.
Yeah.
It's ageless, eternal. And what's the next part of that quote? The soul is not destroyed when the body is destroyed. So I think we just go into we just become part of the collective consciousness, the invisible to the human part of the collective consciousness. I really do.
Do you think we come back, reincarnate?
Yeah, definitely. I've seen evidence of that with kids who think they're some old man or a fisherman in Cornwall and know all about them, never been there in their lives. You know what I mean? You've seen it. You've seen that happen, haven't you? You know, I've seen programs about it on telly years ago. I think it was one little boy who thought he lived in Wales and he'd never seen Wales, and he could tell them everything about the house and everything, and they took him and he was right. So yeah, I do. But the thing, kids are plasticine though, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Kids are much more switched on. They just have that ability indoctrinated out of them.
Absolutely. Well, they're more fluid, aren't they? Because, like you say, we end up so indoctrinated, we forget who we are.
Yeah,
we lose connection to who we are.
Yeah, and we forget, you know, that these sort of about we put away childish things and all that. The thing that we put away that we should hold on to is our imagination. We should keep hold of that childish imagination, because that's where the magic happens.
I agree totally. I agree.
It's where the magic happens. That's why kids live in a magical world. We put these things to one side. We should never put childish things to one side. That's where the magic is.
And that's I always tried my best never to tell my kids to grow up, because it's like,
I've told mine to grow up. I've told mine to grow up, but that's because they're in the bloody 20s and it is about time. Let's be right. Especially when have you got 20 quid? Well, you earn more than I do. Grow up. Learn to be skinned. I did it for 30 odd years.
What do you have you panned things out over the next few years? Because obviously they've got this agenda, haven't they, till 2030. They've given themselves a little bit of a date there, which I don't know if they'll reach it or not. I don't know if things will change.
I don't think they'll be successful. Doesn't mean they're not going to try again, but I think they played their hand a little bit too early with the medical issues. A few years ago, I think they played the hand a bit too early, and I think they were clumsy in their dissemination of that, because I think they were a little bit too zealous, and too many people opened their eyes to it. And I think the plan was to creep in on the inside and no one else catch on, but they were at it. They couldn't help themselves. The greed, you know. You've got the twat Hancock with his bird. Do you know what I mean? You've got Boris in next door's garden, number 10's garden. I don't know whether it was cake or what it were. You got Starmer photographic evidence of Starmer having a beer and a curry. He didn't get done though, did he? Let's be honest. Then you've got all the PPE stuff that they had in fields ready to burn, because that were a big scandal, weren't it? Jobs for the boys and contracts worth billions and all that kind of thing. So, and then, you know, you've got the Queen sat in the church all by herself because she couldn't be sat with her family, because everybody else had been told you can't comfort your mum while you were burying your dad. Do you know what I mean? And there's all that, and that woke people up. And then the intervention, of course, didn't go the way they planned either, did it? Blood clot city and myocarditis and all that kind of thing, and people dropping dead on football pitches. Do you know what I mean? Newsreaders conking out on live on telly and all that kind of thing. Didn't work out as they planned it, because they didn't plan it properly. They didn't plan it well enough.
No, and the thing is, it's been in plan a long time though. So they definitely rushed it.
Yeah, but human beings, greed gets the better of people, and then they think they think, oh, that's it, we've got them all. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, we're in the bag. Oh, don't worry about it. They're all stupid. We've indoctrinated them long enough. They didn't they didn't really account for people not being stupid. And people will continue to not be stupid. And I don't think they'll succeed. I think it'll quieten down, and I think they'll wind the necks in for a bit, and then they'll try again, and they'll learn from the mistakes from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, and they'll try again. But next time they'll make sure they do it right. And also maybe next time everybody will have a chip in their hand that they can just switch off when they feel like it.
Well, that's the danger, isn't it? Like you say, it's the generations that are, and I've been saying this, you've probably heard on some of my chats, I've been saying this for a bit. It's the kids that are born with the phone in their hands that's in danger, really, because we remember what it was like without the mobile phone, without the internet, and life was, we don't need all that.
We don't need it now. It was so much easier. We should take off in the morning. We have during summer holidays, we have a bottle of pop and a jam sandwich. We used to get on a bus and go into Peak District all day. As long as we were back for streetlights coming on, we were fine. We used to come back with old jeans off, hanging out, and muck everywhere. And do you know what I mean? 14-year-old. Lost one of my shoes and all that kind of thing. Get a good idea for being 5 minutes late. And all, do you know what I mean? But now you will, if I had kids now out that young now, I wouldn't fancy them going out from morning till night. You wouldn't. There's too many, or is there too many? Or are we being told there's that many creeps around corner? Because when I used to do that, Ripper were about.
I mean, I think there's always been nutters, haven't there? I mean, we had an incident in our street 2 weeks ago. We had an incident. We had 2 brothers, and he's basically attempted murder, middle of broad daylight, on the front lawn, and stabbed his brother. It's like but these, it's not unheard of before either. It's just
no, it's not. But we seem to hear it a lot these days, don't we? And I think a lot of it is the kids have never got a good scotch. They never got a good scotch.
No, it's true.
There's a lot of kids not being brought up with manners, with like having respect for other people, having respect for older people. I mean, getting a bloody good scotch if you're being a twat. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they took a lot of that away, didn't they? In sort of the 80s and 90s.
Make your kids unruly, and then we'll have lawlessness all over the place, and then everybody will be frightened of all the lawlessness because we're being hit with fear from all sides.
Absolutely. And this is why your channel's really good for that, because let's say for example, yesterday, I don't know if you've done a video on it or not yet, but yesterday they announced an attack on the disabled. Obviously, they've got the assisted thing that they want to bring in as well. So the PIP thing was come out yesterday, you know, so they're going to freeze the PIP payments, and then anyone with mental health issues that have got PIP at the moment won't be able to get it. And, you know, so what they're doing there is they're putting
that's not what they're doing though, and what they're doing is they're going to reassess everybody. I think they're going to reassess the people who are on PIP for mental health reasons. Yeah. I don't think they'll get away with it. I'll tell you for why, because I don't think the unions will let them get away with it. Don't forget, they're the paymasters. Well, to a degree. They've got to have unions on the side. I mean, they're the people that get them into power. I don't
what
think
they're going to do, though, Louise, they're going to scare people, aren't they?
Oh, so yeah,
straight away, people who are disabled. Of course it is. So they put people in fear straight away. But they're also wanting to head people into the universal basic income down the line. And
that's coming anyway.
You know,
coming anyway. It's coming anyway. Yeah, it's coming anyway. So what do? You accept that it's going to change. We're going to have a Chinese social credit system. It's coming anyway. All right. What you do is you make sure that you can be as self-sufficient as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Dig up your garden. Do what they did in Second World War. Dig up your garden. Grow as much as you possibly can. Share with as many people as you possibly can. Make community. Find support, community support. Reach out to people who are like-minded, and just find someone or a group of people that you can gather, like you did in your pub during the issues. Do you know what I mean? Creating support networks, because this is what's gone wrong. They've ripped us from a support network. When I was a kid, my next door but one neighbour was an elderly lady, and we would go around to her house every other day and ask her if she needed any shopping as kids, because this was what we had to do. When there was snow on a drive, we would go and clear the snow. Do you know what I mean? We didn't have money for it like kids would expect now. We went and did it out of respect for the elderly lady that lived next door but one.
Yeah.
It was a community. Everybody knew each other. I know my neighbours. From halfway down the road to halfway up the road. I know who they are. Yeah. How many people know the neighbours, know the names, Christmas cards and all that? They don't, because people have become insular and mistrusting and frightened. It's like,
yes.
Do you know what I mean? So we need to start growing community again, because that was fractured on purpose to divide and rule. 100%. Isolate, divide, rule. And that's where we are now.
Game.
It's the gameplay. It's the same gameplay. You know, it's not even intellectual enough to be chess. That's the gameplay. Divide, isolate, rule.
Yeah.
And if we don't divide, and if we don't isolate each other, if we stay together, they can't.
Absolutely, but that's why they label people up as well.
Oh, far right.
Something.
Apparently, I'm a far right thug.
I am. I was a far right gammon, and
I'm a far right thug. Me. And I just think, no, I'm just sensible. There's nothing to do with right or left. I'm just bloody right. Or I think I am. I hope I am.
But the thing is, during that period of time, though, Louise, all we're trying to do is actually help the people we love.
Yeah.
And that's the ironic side of it.
And to try and make people realise that you're not doing yourself any good, worrying yourself to absolute death, to worry yourself into a physical illness, because it's life changes and it's all a ruse. But people believe more what they see, what they hear. You know, it's about stepping out of the way. But people really do believe it. There's people who swear by the BBC and ITV and Sky News and all that. I switch it on now. I can see straight through it. I've been able to see straight through it for a long, many years. You see it and you just think you're just talking bullshit at me, and why am I paying a license fee for you to just talk bullshit? So you're telling me all these things terrible, this catastrophe, but you're not telling me that 1,000 Syrian Christians have been murdered. Because all you can talk about is Rupert Lowe's had a fallout with Nigel Farage. That's not the most important thing that's going on in the world. It's not.
Do you see community coming back together?
Yeah, I do, but I do think it's going to be the older people that are going to do it. I think it's going to be older people. I mean, I'm 58, so I think it's going to be people, and there are going to be some younger people and all that have got old heads on their shoulders. Some rainbow people, some rainbow kids that that are out there that can see, they know. And I think a lot of the younger kids, the ones that are like 16, 17, I think they're starting, the film's being removed from their eyes because they've been fed that much bullshit that it's not credible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I think it's just not credible to them anymore. I mean, all this gender politics and all that kind of thing, kids are reeling against it now. I mean, they sort of bought into it for a bit. Now they're reeling against it because they've gone too far with it. That's the thing. They're not clever with it. They've not been clever with it. They've gone too far. Kids have lost patience with it, and they just think, what sort of world are you bringing me into? You're teaching me bullshit. Yeah. I've come to school to learn English and maths. Get a good job. Get a good job. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
Well,
so I don't think they're going to succeed 100% come 2030, but it's not going to stop them trying again. They'll continue to try because this agenda has been on the cards for longer than I've been alive.
So the message is to stay vigilant as well.
Just keep your eyes peeled. Keep your eyes peeled, your ears open, and take care of the people you love and who love you, and build good, strong communities where you can support each other and help people out. Someone needs a lift at hospital. That's not a problem. They might have grown some turnips or something, and you know what I mean. Chuck you a few of them over the wall, and you go and take her to hospital. I mean, what's wrong with that? I've got an allotment. I've got chickens. All my neighbours get fed. In growing season and what have you, because I've got too much. I can't eat it all. I've got too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does it hurt? But that's the way it always was.
It was.
That's the way it always was. Yeah. And it's gone away because people have become suspicious of one another. And we just need to just stop and think, And I always said to my kids, always smile at people. When you walk down the street, smile at people, look them in the eye, smile at people, because what you've got to remember is, even if that's an ugly person or a fat person or a spotty person or someone you don't like, that person's a little tiny spark of God, just like you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, you can change someone's world with a smile.
Yeah, you can. And a few words, because you don't know what the other person's going through. No. You know what I mean? You don't know what anybody else is going through. Just because we're going through shit, or maybe not, doesn't mean that you're the only person in the world, because you bloody well not. Because we're living in this collective consciousness. Probably more of us are going through some pretty bad shit at the minute. Do you know what I mean? And maybe we all need a few words of encouragement or a smile. Or a bit of a laugh. Or just some peace of mind, just someone to say it's going to be all right.
Well, Louise, you keep putting people's smiles on their faces, because your channel's fab. I really enjoy it.
Thank you. I love your channel, but after it goes over my bloody head, because I think I've never heard of this. Never heard of this. And if I looked it up, I'd be down rabbit holes for months. Because I am a nosy cow, and I need to learn these things. Do you know what I mean? It's like, what's that? What's that?
That's the problem with me. I'm a nosy bugger as well. That's why I've done what I've done, because I'm just like, I want to know. I want to know more.
I want to know. I want to know more. I want to know more. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no wrong with that. I think it's good to remain curious. And I think
I think as long as you don't let it consume you.
Oh yeah,
because you can get poorly.
I've been there as well, Doctor. I've been there as well. I've been there as well, where I've been doom scrolling and all that, and it's like it hurts you. It hurts your heart. It hurts you. It hurts your mind. It hurts your soul. It consumes your life. Put it down.
It's like, remember, we're in a game. This is a game that we're in at the moment. So we've got to play it. I've said as well, Louise, I've said the biggest way of rebellion to these psychopaths now is to enjoy your life and live as long as possible. Yeah,
just to fuck them off.
Exactly. I want to live to at least 100 just to piss them right off.
I probably won't do. I'll probably stop the world and get off, not at 100, but I'm gonna be getting my revenge on my kids.
Yeah.
They are going to have hell when I'm that old that I can't do it for myself, I tell you, because I brought them up all completely on my own, no family, nothing. They have had 20, 30 years of my undivided attention. So I'm going to get a little bit of that back when I'm, I'm going to get some of that. I'm going to have fun with them too. I'm having fun with them. They know it. I do. I'm only joking. I wouldn't.
They'll have to prepare. They'll have to prepare.
Yeah, then I'm having fun with you two. When I'm old, I'm going to show you up in supermarket and all sorts. You've done it to me.
Louise, thank you so much for coming on the chat. I hope we do this again sometime. We should.
Yeah, no problem.
We should definitely do it, and maybe have a few readings next time. Maybe we can get some. Maybe.
I can do. You could give me a question or something. Give me a question, but give me time to meditate on it first. Yeah. Right then. So are you going to send me a copy of this, and I'll stick it on thing or link or something, and I'll stick it on me YouTube.
Of course I will. Of course I will.
All magic.
Right,
I'll see you soon.
Louise.
Take care, Anne. Bye.
Bye. Bye.